sign in. Okay. So, it seems all too often that I have to begin class by talking about bad things that have happened. I had this same talk in 2017 after Hurricane Harvey. If you were here, it was quite devastating. We shut down class for almost 3 weeks. And it made law school very tough. I mean, law school is difficult in normal times. Now you also deal with the pandemic on top of everything that happened last week. I know that some of you don't have power. Some of you don't have running water. You may not have internet access. So the stressors that usually kick in are there. I'm also aware a lot of you have no problems at all. Some of you never lost power. Some of you maybe lost water for a few days and then got it back quickly. So these sorts of tragedies don't affect everyone equally, right? They sort of fall upon different people in different regards. So if there's any way that I can help or the school can help, just ask. We have counseling. We have emergency funding. There are different things the school can do to help. I remember during Hurricane Harvey, one of my students, her apartment got flooded, and all of her textbooks were destroyed. It's something you would never think of happening, but your textbooks got destroyed. How are you going to study for class? You don't have books. So we were able to get her new books. So the school can get creative in providing assistance for students who need it. Just you have to ask. So if you need anything, please ask. If you need to take a pass on recitation today, just say pass. I know a couple of you emailed me. If I forget, I apologize. Just say Josh pass. I'll be happy to move on. I can give you guys a pass on Wednesday as well. But after that, we're going to need to sort of get back into the swing of things. This is a very huge topic we're starting today. It's probably the hardest topic of the semester. And I fear if you fall behind, it's going to be very, very, very hard to catch up. Okay. I made a couple changes to the syllabus. Dean Field sent you an email during your last class, which you may not have seen. What the school is doing is to designate certain days for makeup. I'm going to use one of those days, but not the other one. I'll explain why. So if you go to the syllabus, I'll put the link into the chat so you'll have it. I'll do a screen share as well. If you go to the syllabus, you'll see that I added a makeup date on Friday, March 5th. Class 13 on Friday, so Friday the 13th, as it were. That is the designated makeup day for last Monday. That is, I guess, Monday the 15th. So your class will begin at 10:30, just like usual. There'll be no other classes during that time, so there won't be conflicts, which is good. If you can't make it, you have work or family commitments, that's fine. I won't take attendance. But there will be a recording, so you can watch online later. But I encourage you to try and attend live. That's one of the hardest classes of the entire semester. It looks like only 8 pages of reading. It's hard. Not going to be an easy class. So the first makeup day is on March 5th. Scroll down a little bit more. The second makeup day is on March 9th. Now, why am I having you come in on a Tuesday instead of a Friday? Your midterm's the next day. Your midterm's on Wednesday the 10th. I had wanted to do a review before your midterm. If I put that makeup class after spring break, it won't help you very much for the midterm. So I decided, perhaps smart or not, to do it that day. I've looked at your schedules. You should not have class during this time. I don't think you do. If you do, you can tell me. But you're going to be starting at 3:15. Same Zoom, same everything else. And I'll be happy to work with you, be recorded. But I'd strongly suggest you clear your schedules out. It's for your benefit. I'm trying to go over stuff before the midterm, and I think it'll be for your benefit. Okay? And then once we get back from spring break, just so you know, my goal is to go over the midterm the first day back from spring break on March 22nd. I am going to try. I am not going to promise you, but my goal is to try to grade everything over the spring break. If I don't do it, I apologize. I'll do as much as I can, but that's my goal at least, to try and grade all the property papers over spring break. Get them back to you by that Monday. If I can't, I apologize, but it's going to be as close to that day as I can. Okay? All right. That's all the screen sharing I have for today. Questions before we get started, and really anything you want to talk about. Questions? No? Okay. All right. We are starting a new topic today, and it's not easy. It's a hard topic. It's for the hardest topic of the semester. And it's a topic we call estates. Now, when I say the word estate, generally most students think of, what happens after you die, like when grandma dies, what's in her estate. Don't think of the word estate in that fashion. The word estate is really a way of saying interest, right? What kind of interest does a person have in property? Right? What kind of interest does a person have in property? So before we begin, I'd like to review a little bit the last case we studied before the break. Does anybody remember who's up next on the list? I sure don't.
I think it's Susan.
Susan, where are you?
Online.
Okay. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Doing all right.
All right. Good to hear. Susan, do you remember the facts in the case we did last week, Gruen versus Gruen with the painting, just generally?
Is that the one with the father and son?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. What happened there?
So that was the one where the father, I think you said, was trying to get around kind of like the estate tax and everything, and gave the son the painting on his birthday, but he's going to keep it in his living room until he died, and then he could take it after.
Okay, good. Okay, those are the general facts, okay? So thank you, Susan. So let's look at question number 1. I put the link for the class notes in the chat. Let's take a look at question number 1. All right. And this will be a question that gets us thinking about our topic today. So here's question number 1, multiple choice. In Gruen versus Gruen, the father gave his son a present interest or a future interest. All right, and if that was Susan, I think Grayson is next. Grayson, are you in the class today or online?
I'm online.
Okay, that's fine. All right, Grayson, what'd you put here?
I put future interest.
Okay, why?
Because although it was his intent to give it to him, like that was his intent, it wasn't meant to be given to him until after he passed.
Okay, you keep saying give it to him. What is it?
The interest in the painting.
Okay, so we're not talking about giving the painting itself. We're giving an interest in the painting.
Yes.
Did the father give the interest to his son before or after he died?
He gave it before he died.
Okay.
Gave the interest. That's why I was laughing before this, because it's like kind of a... Because he presently decided that he was going to give it to him for the future.
Ah, okay. You just said it like 99% correctly. Just say that one more time.
In the present, he decided to give it to him, but not until the future.
Let me just tweak a little bit, Grayson. In the present, He gave it future interest. How's that? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's what I thought you were getting at. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Grayson. So this is, I think, one of the most hardest parts of the case from last week, the Gruen case, or 2 weeks ago. The father gave the son a future interest, right? That is, after the father dies, the son would get the painting. But he gave it to him in the present. You can do that. You can give a present interest in the present, or you can give a future interest in the present. Here, the father gave a future interest in the present moment. You're allowed to do that. It's 100% kosher. You can do that. Okay? So the answer to the answer to question number 1 is B. That's 75% of you get that one right, which is okay, but it could be better. The other class was around 90%. All right? So it was a future interest. All right? Now let's look at question number 2. Let's look at question number 2. This one's short answer. In Gruen versus Gruen, same case, the father reserved for himself a blank estate in the painting. A blank estate in the painting. This will be for Queenie. I think I saw in the classroom in about 20 seconds. Yeah, the classroom, I have like the middle section. I can't see the sides. I can just see like the middle. So I can see a couple of you. And it's so funny. I mean, usually for 1Ls, you have the Facebook where they have these very nice photographs of everyone in the class. They gave us this little zoom blurry photograph. That's what I have for your Facebook, so it's not very helpful. All right, Quinny, help me out here. What'd you put?
I put life estate.
Okay. Why'd you put life estate?
Because life estate is whenever you have a present interest in something that lasts for the rest of your life.
Okay. So, Queenie, that's right. The answer here is life estate. And about 90% of you got that right. That's very good. Life estate. But I want to drill down for a second on the way I put this question, right? Hey, Rhea, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, Rhea, so let's just look at this question for a minute, right? I wrote for you, the father reserved for himself a life estate in the painting. What does that mean? He reserved for himself a life estate. What does that mean?
I would think it would mean that reserved for himself, like he kept it for himself.
Well, what exactly? What you keep saying it, and Grace said it before. Okay. I want you to. No, I'm not mad, but I want you guys to get out of the habit of saying it. In general law school, pronouns are bad. We say it, that, they. Use the noun, right? So the father reserved for himself a life estate in the painting. What exactly does it mean to reserve a life estate for yourself in something? What does that mean?
It means that you keep the interest of the thing while you're alive.
Okay. What does that mean, keep the interest while you're alive?
Like it's technically yours. You haven't given it to anybody yet while you're alive.
What kind of interest did he keep for himself?
The interest in the painting.
What do you call that interest?
The life estate.
Is a life estate a present or a future interest?
It's a present interest.
Okay, good. That's right. Thank you, Rhea. Let me try this a different way. Hey, Linda, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Linda, thank you. Linda, do you remember the bundle of sticks we talked about a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, you're smiling, so I think that's a yes. Remind us, what exactly is this bundle of sticks we were talking about? What is this bundle of sticks?
So the bundle of sticks is the collective rights of the property or the item. And so it's the present and the future interest, in this case, in the painting.
Ah, what do you mean the present and future interest in the painting? How do you have both at the same time? How's that even possible? How can one
I'm
person
completely honest,
Yeah.
I don't fully understand it, but it's the,
That's okay.
multiple people can have an interest in something. Like my highlighter, I can have the present and future interest of it, but if I promised, give it to my brother, he would have a future interest in it.
Okay. That's like 90% of the way there. So you're really close, actually. So I think you understand it better than you admit. You're pretty close. So let me ask you a follow-up question, Linda. We're all going to die, right? I'm going to die. You're going to die. We all die. How can you have a future interest if you're going to die? How can you? I mean, once you're dead, you're dead. I mean, how can you have a future interest if when you're dead, it's not yours anymore?
I mean, after you're dead, it would go to, I guess, your heirs and the people that come after you, your descendants or your issues.
But that's right. But how do you have a future interest? How can anyone have a future interest?
Because everyone dies, and so the original or the present possessor is going to die, and then someone else needs to have the future interest.
So do you have both the present and future interest in your highlighter? Do you have both of them?
Yes.
You
Currently,
do.
right now, I do.
And what does it mean? What does it mean if you have the future interest? What does that let you do? The highlighter.
You keep it in the future.
Oh, when you're dead,
yours?
You can't bring it with you, right? It's not like your Egyptian pharaoh puts all his gold in his pyramid, hoping to bring it to his afterlife, right? I guess you can bury yourself with the highlighter. It's a very important highlighter. But what does the future interest in the highlighter let you do, Linda?
It lets me give it to someone else when
Yes.
I'm gone and no longer.
And what did the father do in this case with his painting? What did he give to his son?
So he gave the future interest to his son. So when he's gone, his son gets it.
Perfect. See, you got this. You understood this. You got it. Perfect. Exactly right. All right. Let me try to summarize what Linda just described. I think she said it exactly correctly. Okay. We start with this idea of the bundle of sticks, right? And for today's class, let's keep it simple. There are 2 sticks in the bundle. There'll be more sticks next week, I promise. It gets worse, but just keep it simple for now. There are 2 sticks in the bundle. All right? There's a present interest stick and a future interest stick. Right? There's a present interest stick and a future interest stick. When the father bought the painting at auction, right? He bought it. And that gave him both the present and future interest at the same time. But then the father wrote these letters, right? Where he basically told his son, I'm going to keep it for my life, but I'm going to give it to you when I die. What happened there is a father separated his bundle. He chopped up his bundle. He kept for himself a present interest, which is known as a life estate. And he gave a future interest to his son. Again, the father kept for himself a life estate and gave the future interest to his son. You can do that, like a highlighter, right? You can chop up the present and the future interest. You're allowed to do that. And now this goes back to Grayson's point a minute ago. He gave in the present moment a future interest to his son. You can do that. You can give a present interest to the son. Okay? Alexander, are you here? I think you're in the classroom, right? You there, Alexander?
Yes, I'm in.
Okay, Alexander, let me ask you a follow-up question. After the father gave the son a future interest, Could that gift be revoked? Could the father say, you know what, never mind, I've changed my mind, I don't want to give it to you? Can the dad do that?
So, I mean, it depends on how he gives it to him, right? We talked about, like, wills, if he puts it in
No. I said nothing about a will. Nothing about a will. And let me just, Alexander, let me pause you. In this class, presume people die without wills, right? You'll take wills and trusts in another semester where wills complicate things immensely. In my class, people don't have wills. They die without wills, so there's no will. The facts are exactly like in this case where there was a letter given to the son on his 21st birthday saying, you get the painting after I die. Can that gift be revoked, Alexander?
Yes, it'd be later on that says, I don't want to give it to you anymore.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Alyssa, your hands up?
Yeah, well, I was just going to answer the question.
You can
Is
answer.
it an inter vivos gift?
Ah, it is. It is. By the way, you just answered question number 8. Thank you. Right? So throw out the question number 8, everybody. Right? I won't ask now because she answered it. It says, is the following a valid inter vivos gift? Painting from dad to dad for his life, then to dad's son and his heirs. And Alyssa answers yes. That's a valid inter vivos gift. Alyssa, can you revoke a valid inter vivos gift?
No, you cannot.
No, you cannot. That's right. Alexander, do you see that? You there, Alexander?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you see that now that you can't revoke an inter vivos gift?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. All right. So going back to the question I asked Alexander a minute ago, if there is a valid inter vivos gift, you can't revoke it. In this case, the father gave the son a future interest in the present. That's called an inter vivos gift. Okay? It's called an inter vivos gift, and it cannot be revoked. All right, everyone with me? Nicholas, I think you're in the classroom. Yeah, there you are. Hi, Nicholas. All right. Actually, Nicholas, hang tight. Let me put the poll up for question number 3. I'll come back to you in a minute. So let's answer question number 3, everybody. Number 3. In Gruen versus Gruen, the father gave his son a blank in the painting. In Gruen versus Gruen, the father gave his son a blank in the painting. All right. All right. I think I just put everyone here. All right, Nicholas. What's your answer here?
I put remainder.
Remainder? What's a remainder?
Remainder is the future interest that follows life estate.
That is 100% correct answer. That's right. Right? Sorry about that. A remainder is a future interest that follows a life estate. That's exactly correct. About 70% of you put future interest. That's not wrong, but it's not the right answer, right? When I'm asking about what interest does a person have, I want you to be specific, right? Saying present versus future interest is like giving me like maybe 25% of the answer. I want 100%. 100% answer is he has a remainder, which is exactly right. And Nicholas defined a remainder as the future interest that follows a life estate, which is exactly right. After a life estate, something's left over, right? The father dies. The painting has to go somewhere, right? We refer to whatever is left over after life estate as a remainder. Think of like remember division in elementary school, or middle school. Like what's 5 divided by 4, right? It's 1 remainder 1, right? It's what's left over when you divide stuff up. The remainder is what's left over. And the son has a remainder. Again, so let's just get our terminology straight. The father had a present interest in life estate. The son has a future interest called a remainder. All right, the father had a present interest in life estate. The son had a future interest remainder. Okay, follow me here. What happens when the father dies? The father's interest merges with the son. It's called merger. The father's interest merges with the son's. Right? The son then has both the present interest and his own future interest. He has the entire bundle of sticks. Everyone with me? All right. What do you call it? Donna, you here?
Yes.
Donna, what do you call it when a single person has the entire bundle of sticks? What's that called?
I don't want to say ownership.
Oh, that would not be the right answer, so good, don't say that. What's the technical term, Dana, when a person has the entire bundle of sticks? They have both the present interest and the future interest, the most basic, the most simple type of estate. What do you call that?
I'm kind of drawing a blank here.
I gave you a really big hint. You didn't even hear it. Nazreen, are you here?
Yes, I'm right here.
Nazreen, what do you call it when a single person has the entire bundle of sticks? What do you call that estate?
I'm just guessing ownership, full ownership.
There's a term for it. It's in the reading today. Dana, you have it?
Yes, I think so. I want to say estate, but that's probably
That's
wrong
not
too.
precise enough. What kind of estate?
Life estate, no.
Nazreen, do you have it? I'll come back to you too if you don't have it.
Drawing a blank, just like her.
Okay, I'll come back to both of you. Jeanette?
Would it be a fee simple?
A fee simple. I even said simple. Did you hear when I said simple? This is the most simple, basic. I can only do so much. Okay, I'll come back to both of you later. Jeanette, help us out here. What's a fee simple?
From the reading, what I took it is the
That's okay.
highest ownership that one can have, so both the present and the future interest.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect, Jeanette. Thank you so much. All right. We have terminology today, right? We've already described what a life estate is. A life estate is when a person has some interest in property for his life. We define what remainder is, right? Remainder is the future interest that follows a life estate. The third terminology we need for today is called a fee simple. Okay. What is a fee simple? A fee simple is the most basic type of estate. It's when a person has both the present and the future interest over some property. To use Linda's example from a few minutes ago, she owns the highlighter in fee simple. Right? Linda has the present interest and the future interest. In this case, the father had purchased the painting at an auction. When he purchased the painting at auction, he obtains the painting in fee simple. And notice what I said, he obtains it in fee simple. You have to learn to speak a different way. It's a very strange language, which I'll explain in a minute where it came from. But you have to learn to speak in a very precise fashion. He obtained it in fee simple. Okay. When you have property in fee simple, you can do with the property whatever you want. You can keep it for yourself, or you can sell it. If you have a fee simple, you can leave it to your children, leave it to a charity when you die, give it to your dog for all you care, right? People leave property to their dog. It's crazy, but people do it, right? You can do whatever you want. With fee simple, you have absolute control over property. In fact, sometimes you'll see the phrase fee simple absolute. I try not to use it because I think it makes it more confusing, but you'll see fee simple absolute, which suggests you have absolute control over the property. Everyone with me? Yes, Grayson, go ahead.
Is that fee simple absolute the same as fee simple?
They're the same thing, which is why I don't say it. I try not to give you terms that mean the same thing, right? So the word absolute doesn't actually add anything. It's just another way of saying fee simple absolute. Now, let me answer Grayson's question a different way. Why are there so many different ways of saying the same damn thing? Welcome to property. The reading I gave you has a lot of history. That medieval times and knights and farms and kings and queens. And someone always asked me, Josh, do we have to know that history? Yes and no. All right. I've never asked on an exam to describe what scuddage was, or how much service does a knight owe. I've never asked that sort of question. Right? It's not a fair question. I would never ask that of you. It's not realistic. But here's what you need to know. The property system that we have today was not written overnight. Right? It wasn't like, oh, I have an idea. Let's write 3 statement 0th of property, right? And make all these rules that don't make any sense. That never happened. Instead, property law developed in a common law fashion over the course of centuries, hundreds and hundreds of years. You had some wealthy landowner who made up some property conveyance that worked. And people said, oh, let me go copy him. And then someone else did something different. Oh, let me go copy that guy. Right? And over time, the court said, okay, this one's okay, that one's iffy, and that one's not okay. So the lawyer said, okay, let's just do the one that's okay. And lawyers kept repeating what came before, right? This is what lawyers do. Lawyers aren't that creative. We really aren't. We simply just take what happened before and we repackage it. You'll learn this soon enough, right? There are very few creative ideas. Most things are not new. If you really think you made something new, you're probably not doing hard enough research because there's nothing new under the sun. Anything you've thought of, someone's done before. You're just doing a different context. Don't flatter yourselves. It's true. Whenever I think, man, I have this great idea, it's like, oh no, someone did it already. Richard Epstein, someone wrote this 20 years ago. Happens all the time. So lawyers kept repeating. And these very complicated property terms came about through this process of repetition and repetition and repetition, right? That's what you need to know from this history, right? The reason why we have this sort of complicated property scheme today is because of medieval times. We don't have medieval times anymore. There are no more knights in shining armor, right? We don't have, these wealthy landlords who have property in their families for generations, Downton Abbey, right? We don't have that stuff anymore. But we have their property law system. All right. Everyone with me so far? All right. So we have these 3 terms, again, that we've introduced today. We have the fee simple. Fee simple means you have both the present and future interest. You have the full bundle of sticks. You can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it. You can keep it. You can die with it, whatever you want. You have the life estate. The life estate is a type of a present interest that a person keeps for their life. Right? After they die, well, we all die. You can't bring with you to the grave. And you have the remainder. The remainder is a future interest. The remainder is a future interest that kicks in after a person dies, after the termination of a life estate. All right, everyone with me? All right. So Dan, let me go back to you for a minute. I'll do Nazarene after. In this case, the father bought the painting at an auction, right? What interest did the father obtain in the painting at that point? What do we call that interest?
A present.
Is it present interest? But be more specific.
I don't know if it would be a life interest at that point. Or if it's just the present interest of purchasing that painting.
When the father obtains a painting at auction, what is he obtaining?
The interest in the painting to
And what do we call that interest?
I would just think the present interest, but
The answer to this question is the same question you didn't get 5 minutes ago.
the fee simple.
But why is it a fee simple?
I guess because at that point in time he has the absolute control of the property.
And what does that absolute control let him do?
It lets him have the future and the present interest in it to decide what he wants to do with it.
Can he sell it during his life?
Yes.
Could he leave it to his heirs?
Yes.
Can he decide whatever he wants to do with it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dana. When the father purchased the painting at auction, he obtained a fee simple. If you will, fee simple absolute. Well, I don't like that phrase very much. Right, a fee simple absolute. All right. Nazreen, I know you're here. Nazreen, let me ask you this question now. What did the father do to his fee simple in this case?
He decided to keep it or give it to his son after.
Okay, hold on. Don't use the word it. Pronouns will get you in trouble in this class. Let's be precise.
To give the painting to his son.
Did he actually give the painting to his son? Did he hand it to him?
No, he didn't.
So what did he give to his son?
He gave him the future interest.
Okay. Now, what does it mean, Nazreen, to give his son a future interest? He had a fee simple. What does it mean to give his son a future interest?
That whenever he passes away, his son can obtain full ownership, or the present and future interest.
I want you to use the terms that we've introduced today. It's very important to use the right term. I'm beating up on Dan and Nazreen, and I apologize. You were just next in the queue. I'm sure a lot of other confused people, but the terminology here is very important. So the father had a fee simple. What did he do to that fee simple? I'm asking very precise questions here.
What did he do that fee simple? Okay, well, he gave the remainder to his son.
Okay, good. Okay, so the father had a fee simple, which is the present and the future interest, right? He gave the future, I think a little bunny foo-foo, right? He gave the future interest to his son called a remainder. What did that leave little bunny foo-foo? What did that leave the father?
That left him with the present interest.
Which is called
the life estate.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. That's exactly right. Thank you, Nazreen. She nailed it. Good. All right. Again, I'm sorry, Dan and Nazreen just next in the firing line, but these are questions that probably have half the class confused, so don't feel you're alone, okay? You start off with a fee simple, which is the present and the future interest. The father sent these letters to his son, right? What did those letters do? Those letters chopped up the bundle of sticks, right? So you had the present and the future. Imagine you take an axe and you just slice it down the middle, right? Separate. He gave his son a future interest called a remainder. And he kept for himself, or he retained for himself, a life estate, right? The son got the future interest and remainder. The father kept for himself a life estate. Everyone with me? Elizabeth, I think you're in the classroom. Is that right?
I'm online.
Okay, you're in line today. That's fine. All right, so help me out here. I have these two sticks, right? The son has a future interest remainder. The father has a present interest life estate.
Mhm.
What happens when the father dies?
So when the father dies, the son would get the fee simple to the painting, and the painting he would have both present and future interest.
Exactly right. Yeah, just stay here for a second, Elizabeth. I promise. So again, son has future interest remainder. Father has life estate present interest. Right. When the daddy dies, they merge. It's what's called merger. The son has both the present and the future interest. He has both the life estate and the remainder. When a life estate and a remainder merge, what do we call that, Elizabeth?
Fee simple.
Exactly. Perfect. You nailed it. Good job. When the life estate merges with the remainder, the son gets fee simple. Fee simple absolute, if you will. The son can do whatever he wants. He can leave it to his kids, or he can sell it. And in fact, I think that's what happened. He put it for auction, made a lot of money off of it, right? That is the most difficult part of today's class. You have a full bundle of sticks, which is the present and future interest. The father separated them. But upon the father's death, the sticks came back together. They merged. There's a merger. And it creates a fee simple for the son. Everyone get that? I encourage you after today's class to go back and review the case summary for Gruen versus Gruen, which maybe you read, maybe you didn't. It will make a lot more sense. This it's such a good case, but you have to read it in two levels. We read it last week about the difference between inter vivos and testamentary gift. We're reading the same case today on a different level to understand present and future interest. It's a very good case. It's my favorite case in the book. It's correct, by the way. Most cases I don't like. This case, like, yep, they got it right. This is a good case. They got it right. Everyone with me? All right, Andrew, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. On Zoom.
Okay, Andrew, thank you. Let me ask you a question, please. All right, so again, we have the father as a life estate, the son has a remainder, right? Future interest. What if the father says, you know what, son, I screwed up. I want my future interest back. Can the father revoke that gift?
I think we just talked about that previously, that it's an inter vivos gift, so you couldn't revoke the gift of the future interest.
Okay, good. That's right. Now, the follow-up question. What if the father told the son, you know what? I want that painting back, and I'll give you $1 million. And the son says, yeah, sure. Why not? I don't really like the artwork anyway.
Well,
how about that?
I would assume that since no one has the fee simple, then the painting or the interest couldn't be sold.
Can you sell a remainder?
Then couldn't.
Can the son sell his remainder?
No. Yeah, no.
You can sell a remainder. Why not?
Okay.
Why couldn't you sell a remainder?
Because you need the present and the future interest in order to.
No, that's wrong. But I'm glad you said that. You can sell a future interest, right? Even though it's called a future interest, you have it now, right? That was this riddle, this oxymoron I think Grayson had half an hour ago, right? Even though it's called a future interest, you have it now and you can sell it. You can sell a remainder, right? You can say, look, my dad's going to die. He's not feeling so well. You want this painting? Okay, I'll sell you my remainder. As soon as daddy dies, you get it. See that? Grayson, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that you can sell the remainder because it's irrevocable, so you wouldn't have to worry about you not getting it.
It's guaranteed. It's a sure thing. Because why? Everyone dies. Daddy is going to die. He's going to die. It's awful to say, but he's going to die. And you can say to an art dealer, look, I know you like this painting. You can either wait for him to die or you can buy it now. Maybe the father's in excellent health, right? Maybe he's in his 70s, but he's in great health. Might not die for another 20 years. And maybe the son needs some money. He's like, look, my dad's going to die in 20 years, but I need the money now. I want to buy a new house. I don't really care about the painting. Let me sell you the remainder now, and then you can just wait and sit pretty till the father dies. Think of it like a cloud, right? Hanging over the father's head. At some point, it's going to rain, right? When the father dies, the rain's going to come out. But that cloud will follow the dad wherever he goes. That make sense, Grayson? Okay. Okay. Alyssa, go ahead.
So what if the son dies before the father
Such a
does?
good question. Such a good question. It's a good question.
And then it's technically the son's, but if he tries to give it to his beneficiaries, then he can't really write because the father hasn't died yet?
A future interest is a valid interest. You can sell it or you can leave it in your will. So let's say the son says, you know what, I'm ill, and when I die, my daughter gets the future interest. That means when the dad dies, the granddaughter gets it, right? You can convey a remainder. You can leave a remainder in your will. A remainder is a future interest with present value. You can do whatever you want with it. But I want to go back to the question before. David, are you here? David B? Okay, David. So again, here's a setup. The father goes to the son. You know what, son? I'll give you $1 million if you give me back the remainder. Can the son do that?
I would think so.
Okay, he can. It's an inter vivos gift. He can give it back. What happens when the son gives the remainder back to the father?
He loses his interest.
Okay, the son loses the interest. Yep, that's true. What else happens?
He reverts back to his father.
Don't say reverts. Just trust me on this one. Don't say reverts. I know you want to, but there's a reason why I can't explain now. Just don't say reverts. What happens when the father gives the remainder back to the father? When the son gives remainder back to the father, what happens then?
It turns into a fee simple for the father.
Yes. Why is there a fee simple?
Because he has present and future interest.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Excellent answer, right? So again, the father had a life estate, present interest. The son had a future interest called a remainder. If the father gets the remainder back, that is, the son gives his remainder to the father has both the present and future interest, which is called the full bundle of sticks. And when a person has a full bundle of sticks, it's called a fee simple, the most basic estate you can have. Questions? And this is not easy. This is a very hard concept, and it gives people difficulty every semester. Yes, Ria, go ahead.
So when we say when the son gives the remainder back to the father, then the father has it in fee simple. Is that how we would say it?
Yeah, and you're getting the lingo. Very good. The father is the painting in fee simple.
Okay.
Father is the painting in fee simple. Why in? I can't tell you. That's just what lawyers say. It's this weird language that developed over the course of hundreds of years. You own something in fee simple, but you have a remainder. Go figure, right? You have a life estate, you have a remainder, but you own it in fee simple. You can say he has a fee simple, but you should say he owns it in fee simple. I don't know why. He owns it in life estate. I don't know why people say it, but I'll know what you mean, but just you have to understand what I mean. Thanks, Ria. All right. Here are we going. Questions so far. All right. Now, what makes this topic very complicated is that there's special magic words. Take a look at question number 4, which is going to give you a little bit of difficulty. Short answer. You need to start recognizing what are these magical words used to convey different types of interests. Okay. So the question for you is this. to A and his heirs, or, stated differently, from O to A and his heirs. What interest does A have? From O to A and his heirs. This is for Javon in a few seconds. Okay, I think Javon, you in the classroom? I think. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Help us out here. What interest does A have?
I believe the life estate.
Okay, why do you say life estate?
Based on how it's worded, I'm assuming that they're getting it now, the interest now, so the life estate is the present interest.
Now, but why is now we discussed two different kinds of present interest, right? What's the other type of present interest we discussed? You said life estate. What's the other one, Javon? The other present interest we've discussed. Okay, so why do you think this is a life estate rather than a fee simple?
I guess I wasn't sure if he was also getting the future interest.
Okay, Joseph, you here?
Yeah, I'm online.
Okay, Joseph, what'd you put here?
I said a fee simple.
Why'd you say fee simple?
I thought that it looks like A is getting both a present and future interest by the wording of and his heirs.
Wait a minute. What? How do you know that?
I'm just guessing A now has the ability to also.
But what does this phrase "and his heirs" mean?
That he has the future interest.
How do you know that?
Because A will be able to decide where it goes after he dies.
But how do you know what "and his heirs" means?
I just figured that just sounds like a future interest to me, so I think that was.
What did the book say about this, Joseph?
Oh gosh.
There's reading. We had readings today.
Yeah. I got bogged down in the history, so I'm not too sure. I just remember it was like the.
You missed the important points. Adalis, you here? You're in the classroom, I think. Adalis, what does "and his heirs" mean?
I am also agreeing that it means fee simple. I'm looking for it in my book, but
It's there. It's
Yeah.
there.
I think it was page 266.
I don't have the page number handy, but it's there.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I watch your videos, so that's how I know, because it pointed it out to me in the book. But
Okay.
because it doesn't specify the heirs, it doesn't say like.
It doesn't have to. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. Hands on. I'll take it from here. All right. So you guys didn't read as carefully as you should have, which is maybe under the circumstance with the weather I can let slide, but there's discussion in your books about what a fee simple is, and there's certain words that are used to convey a fee simple. When you see the phrase "and his heirs," that means fee simple. You have to memorize that. There's no way around it. "And his heirs" means fee simple. "And his heirs" means fee simple. There's no way around it. You have to just memorize that. It doesn't mean literally that goes to A's heirs. That is a totally different story. You can do that, but that's different. What "and his heirs" means is you have a fee simple. It's not something you have to guess at. It's right in the book. "And his heirs" means you're giving it to A. And what is it? The present and future interest. Okay, you're giving the present and future interest. This just have to memorize. If you see and his heirs, think, oh, that means it's a life estate, because I think it's what Javon was getting at, which I often get. That means that means A gets it for his life, and it goes to his heirs when A dies, right? How many of you thought that's what it meant? Probably a bunch of you. That's not correct. It doesn't mean A gets it for his life and it goes to A's heirs. We all die, right? We can only keep property for our lives, right? We can't bring it with us to the pyramid in the afterlife, right? There's no, you can't take it with you when you die. But what a fee simple does is allows you to use it or sell it any way you wish. And if you want to give it away before you die, you can. With a life estate, you cannot keep it past your life, right? Grace, I'll get you in a second. Michael, you here? Oh, you're in the classroom. Yeah. You here, Michael?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. Thank you. Michael, let me ask this question. Let's say the father sent his son this letter, right? And the next year he said, you know what? I want to give the painting to a 5-year lease to an art gallery, right? He wants to give it to an art gallery for 5 years. And on year number 2, the father has a massive heart attack and dies. At that point, what happens to the painting?
I mean, is he just wants to do that, or does he actually?
He does it. He gives a 5-year lease over the painting to an art gallery, and he dies in year number 2. What happens then?
And he intended to give it to them after he died?
No. Using the facts of this case, he wrote the letters to his son, and then he gave a 5-year lease to an art gallery.
I believe it still goes to his son, doesn't it?
Why?
Ask that again, I'm sorry.
My question is why? Why does it go to his son? He gave a 5-year lease to the art gallery.
Because he had already given the son the future interest.
When he gave his son a future interest, what did the father retain for himself?
The life estate.
And how long does that life estate last?
It's just his life until he dies.
So can he give the art gallery an interest beyond his death?
No.
Okay, good. That's what I'm looking for, right? With a life estate, you can only dispose of it until you die. You can't control it after your death. With a fee simple, you can. So when it says from O to A and his heirs, A has a fee simple. He can dispose of it after he dies. Right? This is what you need to remember. From O to A and his heirs does not mean A is a life estate. Just get that out of your head. Get out of your head, because I know you're going to want to say that. You're going to want to say it. It's wrong. All right, Grayson, patiently waiting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I had a good handle on this, but so how are we so sure that from O to A, it wasn't a remainder that was being given? I understand that and his heirs, we have to think it's fee simple. I understand that. But even if it wasn't a fee simple and it was a remainder, he could still give that, or he could still do whatever he wants with it because the remainder is still transferable. So I don't understand how we can for sure say that it is a fee simple and not a remainder.
What about this hypothetical suggests it's a remainder?
Because it's from O to A. So I'm just, it's not clear to me whether O gave the present interest. It is clear he gave future interest, but I'm not clear if he gave present interest.
Well, Grayson, let me ask this question. In this hypothetical, what did O have at the outset? What did O have at the outset?
At the outset, O had the property.
What?
He had fee simple at the outset.
Do you know that? Did I tell you that? You assumed it.
I assumed it because he could give it, and that could also be a remainder, I guess.
All right. So to avoid, I see your question. To avoid making this more messy, let me answer the question a little bit differently, okay? When you see the phrase "and his heirs," at least for present purposes, I want you to assume it's a fee simple. It doesn't have to be, because let me make you a very easy example to turn Grayson's question around. Let's say O is a crook. O has zero interest at all. He has no interest in Blackacre. No interest in the land at all. And he goes and sells A at fee simple. Did he give him anything? No, he has no interest in the land. So you cannot presume that O actually has any interest in the land. But for now, let's just assume everyone's honest for first class of the topic, okay? O has a fee simple, and he gives A a fee simple. By the way, the reason why it's O, it stands for original owner, like O. That's why property professors do it. Okay. Now, from O to A and his heirs means O is giving A a fee simple. O had a fee simple, he's giving A a fee simple. Now, if you notice in question 4, I have 2 variants from O to A and his heirs. But above that, I have just to A and his heirs. I deleted the from O part. You may see on different books or perhaps in the bar exam or somewhere else to A and his heirs. They cut out the from O part. I leave it in because I think it makes more sense, but you may see it otherwise. Even if the from O is omitted, you have to understand that's implied. It might be there. So just if you see just to A and his heirs, that usually means that someone, O, is giving A a fee simple. All right. Let's try question number 5. Question number 5. From O to A for life. What interest does A have? Okay. All right. Emma, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm online.
Okay, Emma, thank you. Emma, what is your answer here?
I said a life estate
Okay. Why life estate?
because the interest in whatever they're giving is limited by A's lifetime. It's not given to them forever.
Ah. So when it says for life, that means life estate, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's correct, Emma. The answer is life estate. A couple of you wrote present interest. That's not wrong, but it's not precise enough. The answer is life estate. One of you wrote remainder. That's not correct either. The answer here is life estate. And let me just make this very clear. Emma said something very, very, very sharp. She said it's for A's life. The life estate is measured by A's life. Even if A was to sell his life estate to someone else, it's still measured by his life. So, Emma, let me ask you a follow-up question. Would you ever buy a life estate from someone?
Probably not. I don't know. Maybe depending on how old they are.
Well, let's say the father's in his 70s and he wants to sell you his interest in the painting. Would you buy it?
No.
Why not?
Because he's going to die soon. So whoever has the future interest in that painting can do whatever they want with it, and that doesn't mean it's mine anymore.
So you might lose it in a couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Life estates are risky, right? Now, life estates might make sense sometimes. So recently, if you know the name Hugh Hefner, who was a longtime publisher of Playboy magazine, he had a mansion called the Playboy Mansion out in California, and he was basically about to die, and he needed money. So he sold a developer his interest in life estate. I'm sorry, he sold a developer a remainder in his property. So that way, once Hugh Hefner died, it would go to the developer. And he died, I think, about a year or two later. So it didn't last very long. So there might be some cases where it makes sense to buy, a life estate if the person's young and healthy. But the person's old and going to die, you're not taking a life estate from him. You're gonna wait till he dies. All right? So everyone get question 5. It's a life estate. All right, question 6. Let's try question number 6. This will be for Lacey in a little bit. Question number 6. From O to A for life. comma. Pay attention to the commas. The commas are very important. From O to A for life, comma, then to B and his heirs. What interest does B have? What interest does B have? Okay, the 5 seconds. All right, Lacey, help us out here.
Well, I typed in fee simple because of and his heirs, but then I realized he doesn't actually have that because he only has the future interest, he has a remainder, not the life estate.
Which one is it?
But if A died, then he would have both, so then he would have a fee simple. They would merge, right?
Well, A's still alive.
So as long as A is still alive, he only has a remainder.
Is the remainder a present interest or a future interest?
The future interest.
All right, so Lacey, let's go through this one step at a time, right? At the outset of this transaction, what does O have at the outset?
O has a fee simple.
How do you know that?
In fee simple.
How do you know that?
Because I assume because he's able to give away the interest to both A and B.
Okay, this was Grayson's question a minute ago. Just assume he's yelling at the screen, right? Just assume for now that O has a fee simple. That's correct. So O has a present and future interest, right? What does O do to Lacey?
He gives his present interest, which is the life estate, to A.
Good.
And the future interest, which is the remainder, to B.
Perfect. What happens when A dies?
B gets a merger. B gets everything.
And what does B have?
A fee simple.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much, Lacey. That's very good. You have to look at it step by step. So at the outset, O has a fee simple. He has a present and future interest. He chops it up. He gives a life estate present interest to A. He gives a remainder to B. Right, so the answer to this question is remainder. Most of you got it wrong. Only about a third of you got this one right. A lot of you just put fee simple. Now, why did you put fee simple? You got tripped up. You got tripped up. You saw and his heirs. Like, Blackman said and his heirs means fee simple. That's almost correct. The super duper correct answer, which two of you put this. It's remainder in fee simple. A couple of you got that. Excellent. Gold stars. Remainder in fee simple. Why? Because upon A's death, B would have a fee simple. It doesn't go to B's heirs. Again, and his heirs means it's a fee simple. In the present, you have a remainder in fee simple. And at some point in the future, after A's death, you would have fee simple absolute. The present and the future interests merge. B has a fee simple absolute. Alexander, go ahead. And I know you're in the classroom, so I'm going to meet you. Go ahead.
That's a scenario in which once you get a remainder, so the person who owns the life estate, who has the life estate, dies and then it merges. So I see that it is remainder in fee simple. Is there a situation where they would get the remainder but not the president? Like, how would that, or is it always remainder in fee simple?
Look at question number 7, my friend.
Okay.
I don't want to actually ask question 7 yet because I think we're about to run out of time. We have a few minutes left. I'll do question 7 next class, but I'll give you the T's. From O to A for life, then to B for life. You can actually have one remainder after another remainder, right? So you have a life estate, and then you have a remainder in life estate. Whoa, right? I just blew your minds. This topic sucks because you can do things like this, right? You can have these I mean, imagine, Alexander, that you're a wealthy landowner and you have two sons and they gamble. They're drunks, right? They're not reliable. You don't want to actually give them fee simple to your land when you die. So you say, I'll tell you what, son number A, you get a life estate, you're older. Okay. Then when he dies, son number B, you get a life estate as well. And when he dies, it goes somewhere else to whom I trust, my grandson who I actually trust. So you could actually structure these conveyances as a way to avoid unreliable family members, right? A lot of this topic that we're studying gave people the power to control their land after their death. That's what this was about, right? After I die, can I control who has access to my property? So you could actually have a present interest life estate followed by a remainder in life estate so that your two sons, A and B, can't really get rid of it. Because who said before, Emma, you're not buying a life estate. It's a waste of money because once person dies, you don't get to keep it. So you actually stack a life estate after life estate, and then something happens afterwards. Someone else gets a third party.
And so no merger would apply here, right?
Yes, exactly. There's no merger. Basically, there's a present interest in life estate, and there's going to be a future interest, but the fee simple doesn't come together.
Okay.
Now, I will ask, I'll begin class on Wednesday with this question: what interest does O have? And maybe you can all think about the answer in the next couple of days. Because there always has to be a future interest somewhere. The cloud has to be somewhere. You can't ignore, right? You have to say at any given point in time, what happens when B dies? Right? What happens when B dies? What happens to the land? You always, in this class, you always need to be able to account at any point in time who will own the piece of property. And if you can't, then this conveyance is void, right? You can actually say, this conveyance is not valid, because it doesn't explain what happens when B dies. You have to explain it. All right. Thank you, Alexander, for the question. Very good question. So again, I'll start class off on Wednesday with question number 7. It's a hard question. But here's what, and I'm almost out of time, so let me start the minute poll, but I'll summarize a bit. We've introduced 3 concepts today. Okay, you have the present interest in fee simple. You have a present interest called a life estate. And you have a future interest called a remainder. We've only had 3 so far. We're going to have about a dozen by the time we're done. You're going to hate me. There's so many of these stupid terms. You're going to hate Blackman. Enough already. I'm sorry. We got to do this. With a fee simple, one person has both the present and future interest. They can control what happens now and what happens in the future. With a life estate, you're given a present interest that lasts for the duration of a person's life. They cannot give it beyond that period of time. With a remainder, you have the future interest that follows the termination of a life estate. That's what we call the termination. So ugly, right? When a life estate terminates, that's when someone dies. The remainder kicks in, right? Your future interest becomes a present interest. The remainder was a future interest, but after death, it becomes a present interest. You can have a remainder in fee simple, in which case you have a present interest in fee simple after death. You can also have a remainder in life estate, which means after a person dies, you get a life estate. There are other types of remainders, my friend. There are many types. I'm only giving you a couple now. But what makes this topic so annoying is you sort of build one layer on top of the other. If class today didn't make sense, go back and rewatch this video twice if you have to. It gets a lot worse, right? We spent basically the entire 90 minutes or 75 minutes on 5 questions, right? I didn't do a single case, and this still probably doesn't make sense. I could use another hour if I had time, but make sure you review these videos carefully. Go review the questions, make sure you have the right answers lined up. And I'll have office hours today at 2:45. Any other questions? Yes, Grayson, go ahead.
Well, I just want, do you stay after class at all and answer some questions, or should you just come to office hours?
Office hours are ideal. I have another class coming up, which I have to get ready for, so it's tricky for me to do it right now. But office hours are ideal.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I have both property back to back and First Amendment in about an hour, so I need to get ready for that one. So it's hard to do everything at the same time. But after 2:45, I'm free for the day. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I will see you all in class on Wednesday or office hours sooner. Thank you.